Making his All-Star Game debut, this former #1 overall pick is leading the resurgent Detroit Pistons, Cade Cunningham.
3, 2, 1.
Oh my goodness, that is like porn to me. You just love to see it. And say what you want about All-Star Weekend, and I know Kool-Aid's going to have a lot to say about it, but seeing Cade Cunningham there really, I mean, I know that we've seen Andre Drummond and we've seen Blake Griffin, but this hits differently because he is the present, he is the future, and I think he is going to be the man when the Pistons get back to those glory days. But speaking of the glory days, it's always the glory days when we could talk about Pistons with Kool-Aid, and
yes,
now
sir.
Kool-Aid is joining us live from San Francisco.
Fired up.
Really
fired up.
Hold on.
Right?
He done changed, man. You changed.
Man. Kid Kool-Aid, man. Come here.
Hey, what up, though?
Hey, Kid Kool-Aid, what up?
He's been out here representing, man. He's been out here representing. And you know what? Let me be for real. I got the victory shades on y'all. I got them on really because what I experienced during All-Star Weekend is really a testament to the chat family and what you all have made this platform. We do what we can. But hearing from some people down here, hearing from some people in the NBA offices who've tapped in, that's the thing that they're blown away by. Just how much support we have, and not just within the shows, but also on socials. And that's why this is something that can happen. USA, go USA Hockey, and get Flannel to NHL All-Star Weekend next season.
Hey, I appreciate that, Kool-Aid. But
yeah.
So you've been out there covering the All-Star Game, which is an amazing opportunity for you. And I know that the reviews of All-Star Weekend were mixed, to put it nicely. But I just want to ask you, what was an experience that you had that really stood out to you this weekend?
You know what? Being able to see both the media work and the players just on a human level. The type of access that we got, it is the greatest level of access credential-wise I've ever had. And you're just sitting there. It's just like, oh, hi, Anthony Edwards. You know, and you're able to kind of talk to these guys in a moment where they're being vulnerable. The pressure is off, and it was really, really cool. But the crazy moment for me is, like, I've been around athletes. I've played ball with pro athletes and pro-am and such. It's the media people for me, man. I was sitting there in line, and it was David Aldridge, man. DA.
Wow, yeah.
I was like, man, like, yo, I don't skip you in 2K, bro. Like, it's,
Yeah.
I was sitting there, David Aldridge. I turned around, right? And I looked back, and he was gone. And, like, Hunter Patterson from Athletic, Cody Davis from the Detroit News out there, they were like, that was him. And I was like, dang, I thought I missed my opportunity. And I'm sitting there doing an All-Star Game, and he just walks up, sits down right in front of me. Got to say my what up those to David Aldridge and be able to shake a hand and get some you know, some type of advice from him. So that type of stuff was really, really dope to see. The legends in media that we've grown up that's made the game enjoyable for us, aside from just the product of the court. It was cool to meet those guys.
Kool-Aid out there rubbing shoulders with everybody. Can't return no text, man. You done changed, bro. Like, I thought you was down for the woo, man. What's up with you?
Come on, man.
What's up with you?
I'm still woo crew, man.
Man, I ain't trying to hear that. Hey, nah, shout out to my boy. You've been out there working hard. That Funny Marco content was really good. Meant to tell you that. That was very well done. Shout out to Funny Marco. But how did you feel? And we didn't get a chance to really see Cade, much of him in the All-Star Game, unfortunately, because they got bounced pretty early. But, you know, him competing in the three-point contest, I thought that went fairly well. He wasn't the very last. You know, he scored more than 14. So shout out to my boy. He went out there and competed. But just talk about how did you feel Cade looked amongst, you know, some of the brass of the NBA, some of the greats of the NBA. Did Cade fit in that element? And just what are your takeaways about, you know, his first All-Star appearance?
Yeah, he definitely fit in that element. And that's what I'm saying. Like, being able to see how these guys interact with each other, seeing how they're walking around in the tunnels and all that type of stuff where they go back for the media mixers. Kade Cunningham has a presence. It was interesting to hear how the crowd reacted to different people being introduced. And Kade Cunningham was one of those guys that was getting, you know, a loud applause. Think about how popular Blake Griffin is. Think about how epic that season was for Blake Griffin.
Yeah.
When he made All-Star for the Pistons and drugged them there almost by himself. And he only received 670,000 votes. And I was able to ask Kade Cunningham about the fact that, like, bro, you know you got over 200,000 more votes than that. And running into different people down here, I'm thinking I'm running into Pistons fans. These people are not even from Michigan and not from Detroit. Some of them from, like, overseas. There's people who've been following them since college. And some people, like, the large majority, they were like, bro's just a bucket. Like, I fell in love with this game when the Pistons started doing better. And now I'm a Pistons fan. Now I'm a Cade Cunningham fan. So it's cool to see that type of effect he's had on the game. And him, he's just been cool, calm, and collected, man. He fits, he belongs. And he said he appreciated this experience. It's one he wants to have for a long time. And the questions he was getting, they were like, yo, who's going to be the face of the league in 5 years? He was like, you mean like if I can't say me? And I'm like, you can say you. He was like, me? That's my dog.
Right.
That's just kind of how he's been this entire weekend.
You know he carried that Detroit with him everywhere. I absolutely love that aspect of him. And we're going to see many more of Cade appearances in the All-Star game, man. So shout out to him. And I got to just get, you know, just from a personal standpoint, what was your favorite experience of the All-Star weekend? Because, hey, man, Mac McClung trying to keep the dunk contest alive by his damn self, man. Him dunking over the kid, absolutely amazing. He won the dunk contest off the first dunk. The three-point contest, you know, somewhat entertaining as well. What was your favorite moment from All-Star weekend?
If I could just be vulnerable, just being there, man. You know, I got my wife, I got kid Kool-Aid, we got the baby with us as well. So sharing that moment with them, he was able to go to the Rising Stars Challenge. The day was hectic. We got in like late. We went straight to the arena, but they were hospitable. They like literally checked our bags there because we couldn't stop by the hotel first. Walked in. As soon as we walked in, Ausar Thompson is going, and like my heart, man, I was like, oh man, my kid's gonna miss this opportunity.
Yeah.
To have an experience I can only dream of having, you know. And so to be here amongst it all, it was like little kid me is just like proud, you know what I mean. So to know that my kid got that now, it was just a different feeling. And for me, it was just the hospitality, man. So I got some of the things that they gave us, like welcome gifts and all that type of stuff, man. Hey, the pockets are tight, so, you know, they gave us little food vouchers, man, that type of stuff. It mattered. But being able to just kind of connect with Cade Cunningham, the person, connect with some of the other media, because, you know, we had a couple of Detroit media was there, connect a little bit more with Pistons PR, but the reception from other people, man, that type of stuff. Like, I watched you guys on Woodward Pistons, and I found out about Woodward Sports. Now I'm part of the Woo crew. Like, I'm grateful for you all. I am beyond grateful. And Travis, you know, one of our social guys, our social manager, he crushed this.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Shout out Trav.
He was on social duty the whole time. I'm getting him all the interviews, all of the footage, all that stuff. And our goal was 100,000 engagement. We're already well beyond that, like double. So I just want to say shout out to the team, man, because this is what it's about.
Hey, shout out to you, Kool-Aid, and shout out to the Woo crew as well. Proud to be a part of such an exceptional team. Are you good to hang on the line while we go to break, and we'll come back and ask you some more questions?
Yeah, let's rock.
Awesome. JB, where do you want me to go with this?
I got to tell them about merch, actually.
Merch?
Some of that Woodward Sports merch as it is going on right now. Head over to woodwardsports.com. Click on that.
Kool-Aid still on the line, and I wanted to ask you another question about Cade Cunningham.
Add reads and breaks, man.
Add reads and breaks. Kool-Aid, you know all about that.
You
life.
got to be here.
But
What up, though?
But Cade Cunningham, and I know you hinted at it in an earlier question, but seeing All-Star Weekend and just seeing him there, getting all the votes, seeing the reception that he got, is it evident to you now that Cade Cunningham is not just a Detroit star, but a national star?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
That was what I was hinting at in my question. Just the fan reaction. You know, even Kid Kool-Aid here, he was like, man, my favorite moment. He was like, I was so pumped when I just saw Cade Cunningham take the floor for the first time as an All-Star, like actually touch the floor. And you could tell the reception. When he got that dunk over Wemby, people were like, dog. Like, and going down and being around media, people were like, man, Cade is really this good? Where did he come from? We're like, really? This is where eyes are just starting to kind of be on him now. Now he's in the spotlight, and you all are able to see what he can do. Yes, he did take a little bit of a leap. But, you know, those of us who've kind of been in the trenches here, and if you have watched Pistons basketball any time before this year over the last 3, you've been in the trenches, then you knew Cade Cunningham had this type of ability. And, yeah, people believe that Cade Cunningham is one of those next steps. You know, you just kind of talk to media, other publications, national publications. Bleacher Report was in the building. Yes, that's the reason why you see a Funny Marco and Bleacher Report doing content with a Kade Cunningham, is because they want to be first to what's next. That's Kade Cunningham.
Love to see it. And speaking of Pistons at All-Star Weekend, how do you think Ausar Thompson acquitted himself?
Yes.
Nice.
You know what? Obviously, people were like, hey, we want to see the free throws, but be made, and we'll always say yes to that. But everything else for what this weekend is supposed to represent, he belonged. It's just a certain aura that our Pistons guys carried with them, and you can tell that they belong, man. And that was the thing. Just being able to talk to Ausar Thompson. Again, this is the most I've been able to talk to them in one kind of conversational setting, press conference type setting. Some like media scrums off to the side where they specifically, Pistons PR specifically said, no, this scrum is just for our Detroit media. Like, that type of stuff was dope. They're dapping us up, they're fist pumping us. They're like, yo, man, thank y'all for coming out here and covering us. And just seeing Ausar out there, this is an experience he said he wants to be a part of for years to come. Now, we know he can't be a part of the Rising Stars for years to come. So that means he has also aspirations. And that's my biggest takeaway from this weekend, is that our guys, we're just like, we want more. It's almost that DNA that the Lions have. When we say that, like Amon-Ra wants his All-Pros and his Pro Bowls, he don't care how insignificant they can be in the grand scheme of things, but they want all that's supposed to be theirs. That's what I saw from a guy like Ausar Thompson this weekend.
I'm so glad that you said that, because it's a perfect segue. Whether or not Ausar is going to be an all-star someday in his career, that's to be seen. But I think we all love his talent and what he's brought to the Pistons this year. But do you think having an experience like this, being at the Rising Stars, will actually give him that extra motivation, that extra hunger to be at this game in an all-star capacity someday, joining his teammate Kade Cunningham?
Yeah, and this one other thing too here, man.
Okay.
Sibling rivalry is real. And if you ask anybody, Amon Thompson's trajectory is all-star. Ausar is not just going to sit by and let that idly happen.
That's a fact.
And that's the thing. It's like, when we did all of our pre-draft stuff, and we had a source that literally, was in the gym with these guys. It's like they said, Ausar Thompson was a guy who literally lived it. When he got that one question at the press conference of, so what do you do, after practice, in your free time? He was like, he was stuck, bro. It looked like the robot malfunction. He was like, I just hoop, man. Like, I go to other courts and take my gym shoes, my ball. I go to the court and I hoop, and I come home and I rest. I try to eat good. And, I study, other players, and then I get up and I go to practice. And it was just like, man, that's a guy who I'm not going to count out as it relates to being a part of All-Star Weekend for years to come. I believe he will become an All-Star with the Detroit Pistons.
And Mike G, you a clown in the chat trying to mimic Baby Kool-Aid noises, man. Shout out to Baby Kool-Aid in the background. But now that we've hit all. But now that we've hit All-Star break, and we've kind of had a chance to not reset, but just see everything that has happened so far this year. What are your takes about the Pistons at the halfway point right now? How can we expect them to look coming out of this? And a lot of people expect this to be a playoff team, not a play-in team, a playoff team outright. So just what are your takes about how the Pistons trajectory looks going forward?
Bro, I'm so glad you asked that, because that was my question to Kade Cunningham last night. And when I get back, obviously, we're going to go through all of the stuff, do some special streams where we can go through all this. So, KG, Flannel, JB, the whole crew needs you guys a part of that. But Kade said that the mindset, obviously, is playoffs. That's the goal. But the mindset is not easing into anything. He said they want to get right into it. They want to just hit the ground running, because you're in your last 27 games of the season. You're sitting in the 6th seed, which means, and you own some tiebreakers. So you own your destiny to that number 6 seed.
Yeah.
And so Kade Cunningham's whole approach, he said, is that as soon as they get back, they're just trying to get on the same page for how they're going to accomplish making this their floor and trying to move up into the standings. Kade says he's really and literally coming for everybody's necks. Like, he's the guy. He believes he's the one that should be talked about as the face of the league. He believes in his teammates. He believes that the squad they got right now is one that they can definitely make some noise with this year. And I'm sitting here like, man, dog, he's making me like really want to go and like if I was really like a sports bettor, go and lay some bones on the Detroit Pistons to lock in that 6th seed if you could. Like,
Don't worry, I got you.
He's very confident, and they are in sync. we talked about the dysfunction of some of the other teams. This squad is so in sync, and it was cool too to see Jaden Ivey walking without his walking.
Hey, that's what you want to hear.
Hey, love to see that. Maybe Ivy back for the playoffs. I mean, we'll see.
Don't tease us, Flannel. Don't do that. Don't do that.
We'll see. But seeing Cade Cunningham at the All-Star game, and obviously this is going to be a Cade heavy topic because he was our only All-Star, and he's the star of Detroit. But do you think in the second half there's an even greater gear that Cade Cunningham can go to? Because we already know right now I got him third in the whole bleeping MVP voting, and you do too, Kool-Aid. Yeah. Is there even another gear that he can go to help ensure that the Pistons can stay no worse than the 6th seed?
Hey, Kool-Aid, most improved locked up, bro. To me, at least to me.
That's a lot. That's a lot. And I'm going to continue to tell you this. KG was very bullish on this people from the beginning of the season. And somebody I've been very bullish on since before he was drafted is Cade Cunningham. I do believe there's another level there. And I think it's because of the chemistry that this team is building. They're just now getting into a rhythm offensively, and this is the most connected they've been defensively. And so I expect on the other side of this break for Cade Cunningham to have a little bit more help, because I believe some of these guys are going to be more fresh. You know what? It was strategic here is Malik Beasley. You think about what happens to certain guys' shots, their legs, and everything that goes on with All-Star Weekend. And so when I hear some of the rumors, when I get to talk to Malik Beasley, I haven't gotten the direct answer. I will ask him as soon as I get back. I believe that this was a decision made for the betterment of the team. Let Malik Beasley rest. Let him rest. That boy has been working. He's put up a lot of threes. Just let him rest. And so I do believe the Pistons are making strategic moves to gear up for an extreme playoff run. And that will be because of what Cade Cunningham does down the stretch as well. I think that there is another level. I believe we're going to see more 30-point games out of Cade Cunningham than like the 20 to 22-point games towards this last 27 games of the season.
Love to see it. Whatever it takes to win. I know Cade Cunningham is that kind of player, but
yeah.
I know that you've covered the Pistons for a while now, and you've rubbed elbows with a lot of NBA players. Was there anybody this weekend that you're just like, wow, this guy just looks different in person and you got starstruck by? Or are you over that by now?
I wouldn't necessarily say starstruck with the players, but what's the word? Or, you know, Jalen Brown, Kyrie Irving.
Of course.
Let me think about who else. Tyler Herro. Those guys just carried a little bit
Tyler
different
Herro.
mystique about them, man. Even Tyler Herro, like, they carried a different mystique about them, but like in terms of like the biggest media scrums, it was guys like LeBron James, Kyrie Irving, but I think it was Kyrie. That was probably the one. And he got so many different questions, so many different media outlets, so many different media members. Like if I could have taken a picture, it was just a crowd of people around his, whereas other people might have had, like Jason Tatum had half of that. You know, other people had like a quarter of that type of a media scrum. So it was interesting to just see the interaction between Kyrie Irving and, obviously he got a lot of questions about Luka Doncic as well. But that was one player. I'm trying to think of another. Ant-Man. Let me not even stop. You talk about somebody who is like modern day Prime, shades on, hoodie on, walks up, and he's very polite. Hey, what up, man? Hey, good to see you here. I'm like, man, I don't even know you. I'm like, I don't even know him, but hey, say what up, though. I'm like, what up, though, man? And he just keeps going. And then Dame Lillard, he was one that was like probably the most down to earth. Like he just kind of walks in, like you're supposed to walk with your security detail and your PR and all that into the PR room. He just walks in. He don't care. He just bumping into people. Hey, what up? My bad. Daps us all up. I'm not even covering him. He's just like, hey, and just keeps walking. So you see those types of interactions, that type of stuff, man. Those players were the ones though that kind of stuck out to me the most, besides like Cade and Ausar.
Oh, that's an interesting one. I want to circle back to Kyrie really quick. In your opinion, what is it about Kyrie that makes him so fascinating to everybody? Like when I hear that Jason Tatum's media scrum was half of Kyrie's, I like almost fell out of my chair.
Yeah, Kyrie is a cultural phenomenon. I'm trying to tell you,
right.
Like he carries a certain, he said, an aura about him, man. It's like he's box office. You know, every time you see him, he's box office. But Kool-Aid, my bad, I ain't mean to interrupt. Go ahead and elaborate on that.
No, you're preaching it, brother. Bro, this is just a show. We're the crew. Like you're preaching, and then run with it. That's what a team is. And just to kind of piggyback on what you're saying, that's kind of what it was. He was asked some basketball questions, asked some Luka Doncic questions, but then it seemed like a third of the questions were like cultural things, asking him about different situations happening in the world, asking his take on like peoples and such, and it was interesting to kind of hear this back and forth between Pete and the media, and it was nothing that could really shake him up. He was just always kind of just down to earth, kind of cool, calm, collected, and it got real funny when Funny Marco went over to Kyrie Irving as well. Funny Marco, he didn't get content with everybody. It was some specific players that he made sure to get content with. So that's what it was real cool that he did stuff with Cade Cunningham. But he went over to Kyrie Irving, was asking him some stuff, and they had some cool back and forth. He was asking him about like animes, like he gets asked stuff like that, like animes, your food. It was almost as if like if Kyrie started his own reality TV show, he would probably be one of the most watched, man. It was crazy to see that reception. I didn't even know it was like that. I'm like, hey, I like him to hooper. I haven't been tapped in that way that KG was talking about, but I saw that. Like what KG was saying, I saw that on display amongst the media and the fans.
That is fantastic information and insight, and just all around, Kool-Aid. Thank you for joining us, and we can't wait to have you back on the show tomorrow.
Hey, keep crushing, man. Keep crushing. Y'all hit that like button for the Whoop Crew, and continue to support these Detroit Pistons. We told y'all a long time ago, tap in with them, man. Tap in with them. It's going to be a fun last 27 games of the season, and I do believe that they got a good opportunity to move up maybe one spot, but they definitely solidify that 6th seed. But most importantly, thank you, Sam. Thank you, KG. Thank you, JB. Thank you, Cavassier, for you guys definitely including me in this show today, man. I appreciate y'all so much.
Oh, you always got an open seat, even though you Hollywood now, man. It's all good, but the bandwagon almost leaving on the Pistons, man. Y'all might want to get on, man. Y'all might want to get on now. And we working on that. We got something cooked up for the people, man, to try to get to Vegas Summer League. So we can do a show from out there, man. Looking forward to it. But safe travels to you and the fam.
Thank you, Kool-Aid.
Thanks, Kool-Aid.
Blessings, man.
Yep, my guy.
Yes, and